You are welcome to What They Did Not Tell You, a space where we talk about the things that they never told us, and I'm sure the things they are not telling you, you that is still in school. My name is Twinamasko Dennis, and today we are excited to have a guest who is going to share with us his honest journey. But before we dive deep into it, let us first know who our guest is.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis, for letting me be here to get this other interesting show, What They Did Not Tell You. My name is Gerald Kizza. I am a teacher professionally, and I'm happy and excited to share with you what they did not tell me and what I found out later. Thank you so much.
Kizza Gerald, where are you coming from? Are you Ugandan? Where are you specifically coming from?
Well, thank you so much. I am a Ugandan. I am a born and a resident of Mbarara. My village is Chibona, which is formerly in Wampara, but now we are in Nyakaejo division, now Mbarara city. So I stay in the city. I've studied from the city, and I do most of my work from the city. Thank you.
So you're a city boy?
Yes, I am.
We are happy. I'm happy to host a city boy now. Because on this show we are talking about the things, the sort of life that they never told us about when we were still in schools. So please, Mr. Kizza, would you mind sharing with us the schools that you went through? I'm very much sure that your OB and OG, they'll be excited to hear from their own.
Growing up, being born from a village, I attended my primary one from the village. I never got a chance to do nursery school, which these days we call kindergarten. But right away from P2 to P7, I was lucky to come to the city. I studied from St. Arusha's Primary School here at the Hill, Nyamtanga. Then from senior 1 to senior 4, I went to Nganwa High School. That was O-level. My A-level, I still went back to Nganwa High School. Then I finished with my A-level certificate. Then later on, I was admitted for a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science from Mbarara University of Science and Technology. I trekked the 3 years here at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. Then from there, depending on different passions, depending on different, what I dreamed and what I wanted to be, I went to Makerere University, did a postgraduate diploma in ICT and mathematics, that is education. So Mr. Dennis, as I speak, I am a teacher professionally, registered with the Ministry of Education and Sports. But because of the passion for reading, because of the passion for upgrading and adding value to myself, I did a master's degree in information systems, still from Mbarara University of Science and Technology, and currently doing my doctorate of philosophy in computing, which we would call a PhD in computing, and that's where I am as of now.
So from what you've just said, truly you went through schools.
Yeah.
And there are 2 schools that you've mentioned that I think I have a cross connection with. You've talked about St. Arusha's. St. Arusha's, I think, is next to St. Lawrence.
Yes.
I was at St. Lawrence.
Oh, wow.
And you've also talked
So I'm your old boy by proxy, yeah.
And you've also talked about Nganwa. I don't think Nganwa High School is close to...
Not so, but our school used to be friends with St. Kagwa, and I hope the friendship still reigns.
And I think those are the schools in Shane.
Yeah, so I am a proud old boy of Nganwa High School. I own it by heart. It is in my blood. I still love it.
So now, Mr. Kizza, thank you for that. Now that you've known that you went through schools, now what exactly are you working on now?
So currently I do lecturing. I teach at Kabare University. I also teach IT, what we would call computing, at Kampala International University, and currently also, to add on that, I am currently a research assistant working with Mbarara University of Science and Technology in the grants office. That involves so much of research writing and grants writing. So I'm attached to the grants office under the Digital Agripreneurship Project, the project that empowers farmers outside there not to only learn how to dig but also to use computers or to apply the knowledge in ICT to improve their crop yields, to improve their farming practices. So that's why I'm now currently attached. That is Mbarara University of Science and Technology. At the same time, I'm a lecturer of computing at Kampala International University and Kabale University.
That's a bit strong. So today we are hosting a teacher researcher. A teacher is into research.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so good to know, Mr. Kizza. Now, after school, you've been to school, you've done your undergraduate, you've done your postgraduate and masters, and now you said you're doing your PhD now.
Yeah.
So let us know, how was life like when you finished your undergraduate? You studied your computer science. How was life after school? Share with us that experience.
It's not been a simple life, because sometimes what we, the children, what the kids outside there study in school may not necessarily be translated to what they actually do in the field. I remember having finished off with my bachelor's degree in computer science. It was, of course, not simple to get a job, but through the grace of God, I later got, though after a certain period of time. I remember finishing off with my degree, I went, applied somewhere, I couldn't be called, I trekked somewhere, I couldn't be called. I ended up teaching in a primary school. That primary school was not even stopping at P7. That school was it was a lower junior school stopping at P4, I remember, but I was not teaching, I was only employed to babysit children. I was only employed to make sure that children are kept busy, play with the children, sit with them in class, ensure they are eating well, they are not fighting. So that's the kind of lifestyle that I found myself in. But of course, I needed to make a living. I thought I needed to be outside home and get engaged, get busy. So from there, life was so hard, because having worked for that school for a period of about 8 months, that was a primary school stopping at P4, making matters worse, I was never paid my salary. I cannot explain what really happened, but that was how hard it started becoming. That was how life became at that moment. So later on, I had passion, because ICT is about disseminating knowledge. I had passion of ensuring that I disseminate out my computer knowledge to the rest of the populace, to the rest of the citizens outside there. So I applied in a certain secondary school. That school was called St. Peter's SS Katukulu. They called me up. I started teaching ICT. But the policy there was that one needed to be a teacher professionally to be regarded as, a professional teacher in that school. So I was there with my degree in computer science, but that did not mean that I was a teacher. So later on, 2 years down the road, the school fired me. I would say they advised me to go, because I was not a teacher professionally. So I left that school. Life still changed, because I remember I was renting. I never had rent. I never, had ways of living, but I never wanted still to go back home. So that's how life became hard. So later on, I enrolled for a postgraduate diploma in education, because at the back of my mind, I was already aware that I was just fired from that school because I was not a teacher. So I needed a certificate to qualify me to teach. I enrolled for a postgraduate diploma in education, did it from Makerere for a space of 1 year. Thank God I finished it. Having finished it, I still had love for upgrading my career. I had love to ensure that school becomes a continuity kind of. So I did my master's degree. I enrolled for a master's degree at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. That was August before the COVID. That was 2019. Finished off my master's degree in information systems. Yes. After my master's degree, of course, opportunities started coming in slowly. That is what I would encourage young children outside there, that opportunity meets the prepared minds. Opportunity comes when the mind is also prepared. No one has to give you the job when you're not qualified for it. So having added some value to myself later on, universities started looking out for me, careers started building up and there for me. So I found myself teaching at Kampala International University because I was qualified to teach there as an assistant lecturer. Kampala University, before I knew it, called me up. I taught, I'm still teaching computer science. So that is how life was. I wouldn't say it was that simple, but then because of what I had in mind that I had to add value to myself, life turned out a little bit simpler afterwards. But having finished from the university for my undergraduate degree, till the time I did my master's degree, life was too hard. It was too hard. But to the young children, to the children out there, life becoming hard is not permanent. There is always a way. How do you treat it? It is not how much time you spend outside there lamenting, but how you behave while spending that time. So how I behaved mattered a lot. How I acted mattered a lot. I behaved through going back for further studies, and here I am. I wouldn't say it is the best kind of life I'm living today, but it is not how I used to be. Thank you.
So, like you just shared with us, so after your undergraduate,
yeah,
you got a job, and then it's from that job that you went for your master's and PhD now.
Yeah.
So when you were saying this, then you've made me remember someone that I once hosted on this very show, and this guest shared with us that after school, he spent over 8 years looking for what to do.
Yeah.
And so I asked him, I was like, how unlucky were you? And then he says, work life nowadays, they advertise for a job, then you submit in your CVs. But then at the end of the day, these things do not work out.
Yeah.
You have to say two things now matter.
Yeah.
They consider two things.
Yeah.
Who do you know? Who do you know is better than do you qualify? So you're sounding like, you're also sounding like you had this one. Who do you know? You had Gambanogu, as commonly said.
Yeah.
How lucky were you?
I had nobody to say I had to talk to. I never talked to anyone to become who I am today. But to encourage the youth outside there who still live with the norm that the world is all about Gambanogu. It is beyond Gambanogu. The world is all about how best can you express yourself before the community, before the employers. I remember getting my job at Kabale University. I approached the dean face on face. This dean had never seen me. I told him my name is this, I have qualified in this, but currently I am seated at home and I feel I can put out my research knowledge to your students. I feel I can even work as a volunteer as I sharpen myself up. So I think that dean in one way or the other saw my kind of presentation, saw my kind of communication, what I intended to mean to him. So frankly speaking, Mr. Dennis, like you said, I had no Gambanogu and I have not involved Gambanogu in my search for jobs in my career development. Same thing with Kampala International University. I never only applied, but I still approached the administrator and told him, I remember the administrator that time was Kadiandago, yeah, Professor Kadi. I told him I need the job because I am qualified as a computer scientist and I feel my knowledge should not sit from home. Later on, in the space of about 1 month, I think God did it, but I wouldn't say God did it because I passed through someone. I expressed myself, I showed the need and cause that I really needed the job. So to the people outside there, it is not about that philosophy. It is not about that phenomenon. Please explore your potential. Go and hit where you need to go. Tell them that you really desire to be this. Can they please give you a chance to become someone? And trust me, that can also work for you. Because it has worked for me, because besides that, I never had those strong people to, carry on myself, to lean on such that they could take me somewhere. So university is not all about classwork. It is about a few, a combination of factors. We study communication skills. How do we communicate to the employers outside there? How do we approach offices? How do we approach our world of work also determines who we become. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kizza, for that piece of advice. And yeah, it's good. And now help us and share with us the experience that you found in the world compared to how things were when you're still in school.
The experience in school molds us as if we are going to finish the university and immediately land on jobs. It is not the case. Sometimes it also even, we always even think that what we have studied at the university guarantees us an opportunity to do the same thing while in the field. It is not the case. I told you I am not qualified as a teacher. I went to a primary school, started looking after children, but had I studied, maybe looking after infants, it was not the case. I went to the secondary school, started teaching computer science, but was I qualified as a teacher? I was not. So what I had done in school vis-a-vis what I ended up doing shortly after leaving campus was a little bit different. But at the end of the day, what was my resilience? If the school fired me because I was not a teacher, did I continue lamenting, or I went and acquired a certificate in education, registered with the Ministry of Education and Sports through my postgraduate diploma in education, started off teaching. So what life is while in school may not necessarily be the same life after school for a variety of factors. But to my case, it was totally different. I thought I would finish, immediately get a job, practice what I did, but it was not the case. It is of late that I have now gone back to my career and settled in it. Yeah. So to the children, to the students outside there, what you do in school may not necessarily dictate what you become afterwards. But how resilient are you towards your career, towards achieving your dream career? That is the resilience that everyone ought to be having. Thank you.
Now, as we come to the end of this episode, you've been in schools. Now you're outside schools, much as you're still a student of PhD. Yeah. What sort of advice would you give to someone that is still in school? Or if you're put in charge of a school, what do you think if you're put in charge of a school? Because now you have experience of being in school and outside the school, what exactly would you be interested in letting someone that is still in school to know about?
Yeah, just as like the government of Uganda always advocates for practical hands-on, while we were studying, we never cared so much to do with hands-on skills, hand practicals. But it is now the highest time that the children of today came to or become aware that what you can do with your hands matters most than what you know in your head, but you cannot put it on paper. So I would encourage children outside there to try as much as they can, that we shouldn't always rush to look for these government jobs and these offices. But then if the university has told me that ICT can be disseminated, can be applied in a variety of sectors after I have graduated, how can I use my ICT knowledge? We have seen, maybe this is something that I should tell you in the next episode. I have got a printer, for example. After toiling and trekking life for so long, and maybe I had not gotten the job. That was during the COVID-19 pandemic. I decided to start up a small stationery, and right now I am earning from it. Reason, this is something that people outside there do not know ICT, but I come to apply it. I make some money out of it because I could not wait for the job to find me. Much as I later on got it, but then I was already self-reliant on my own. So to the children outside there, what you study in school, try as much as you can to translate it to what you can be in society. If it means, starting up something with your own hand right from scratch, right from having one computer that you have as a computer scientist, do and set up a plan for it. If it means participating in a bakery, it means participating in making chapatis. We go to the university to acquire the skill, to acquire the knowledge that will help us transform the society. How do we transform society? Is by creating more jobs. How do we transform society? Is by ensuring that people that do not also have jobs, you help them to make jobs. Mr. Dennis, it makes no sense when someone that has not gone to school is making more money than you, who we thought you're knowledgeable enough. So to the young children outside there, that's my simple advice. Also to the young people outside there, as you're studying in the university, create friendships as much as you can, because you do not know who gives you the reference later on in the future. And again, also work on our attitudes. Our attitudes towards the world of work is different. I have seen my workmates, I've seen several people that I work with, or sometimes in the different areas of life. Someone is given a job on a ground that he's going to perform. When he reaches at the jobs market, he's different. His attitude changes. He does not welcome customers. How do you expect customers to come to your restaurant that you have started on your own when you're not hospitable enough, when you do not use the thank you message, when you do not care and value your customers? So work on your attitude to the young people outside there. Work on yourself. Improve your communication skills. I am so sure and certain that you can thrive in this world where jobs are not available but can be created. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kizza. And like I said, as we are coming to as we are concluding this episode, as a norm, like we always do, we always end with what you have ever faced in life as a regret. The other time, the guest that we had, for her, she said that after campus, after university, after undergraduate, because of looking for jobs here and there, and then she could not find any, she regretted of the course she had studied. She actually shared with us that at some point she thought of going back and do a different course. So please, if you do not mind, share with us sort of a regret that you had ever.
My regret, I wouldn't say it is that strong, because most of the times regrets come with the positivities. So I might have one day gotten disappointed. For example, when I was fired in school because I was not a teacher, you can imagine I was teaching my classes very well. Results came, my students had passed, but then I was no longer in that school because I was already fired. So one day I sat and I regretted, why did I even ever go back to this school? I have produced results, but they are not valuing me simply because I do not have a teaching certificate. This is a fresh graduate from the university having done computer science, but I've been fired simply because I do not have the teaching certificate, as if I was supposed to have acquired it quite in the course that I was doing. So I would say I regretted a little bit, but then it gave me the push. It gave me the zeal to go and look out for it. And here I am, I got it. But I regret that one moment when I had done the school work, and then when the term was breaking to the whole days, they said you should not come back simply because you do not have a teaching certificate. It pained me for some time, because I even remember the content of the message. Say, hey, Kizza Gerald, we are sorry and regret to inform you that you have been terminated following the restructuring exercise that was directed by the Board of Governors because you do not have a teaching certificate. But should the students' enrollment increase, we shall not hesitate to call upon you, this and this. So it was the biggest regret of my life, because I had worked so hard, but the results were not the best. The students' results were good, but the school did not realize what I was doing. But did that regret build in me for so long? It gave me a lesson to go and acquire a document that they needed. And I acquired it. I can tell you, I went back this time. It was okay. So sometimes, please, young people outside there, do not treat the regrets or disappointments as your turnbacks. These disappointments can build into positivities only if you care about them. If you don't, then you might get disappointed forever. That's why we meet people outside there disappointed. But how do you turn a disappointment into something positive? Work on yourself, improve yourself, add value to yourself. I can tell you the world of work needs such people that have added value to themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Kizza, for sharing that regret with us.
You're
and
welcome.
why we always talk about regrets that people faced is what you went through in some or the other could have tempted you to become a better person. Like you said, after they had terminated you, you had to go back and look for that postgraduate certificate that qualifies as a teacher.
Yeah.
Now assume you sat down and continue crying how they have terminated you.
Lamentations don't work in the world of work.
Exactly. So that is good. You know, even they say that iron iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So
sure.
through that, you went for that certificate. You came out and as a qualified teacher. So that was good, and that's why we always talk about regrets and what you learned from there and how you came over them. So Mr. Kizza, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years to come?
Thank you so much, Dennis, for hosting me. Thank you so much, because young children outside there need to hear such from us, and I hope outside there, young people, you're getting inspired and you'll be inspired the more through this program. Back to your question, where do I see myself? This is so interesting. I see myself as a professor of computer science.
Wow.
I see myself as someone that has changed society through research, identifying societal problems and find solutions for them. If, for example, where I stay, there is a problem, of lack of water, how do we use our research knowledge to ensure that people outside there, the stakeholders, the government outside there, gets to know that my area is hit by this problem? And it is, of course, through research. Yes. How do I use my computer knowledge and my computer science knowledge to transform society? So I am seeing myself as a professor of computer science, I think in the next 5 to 7 years, and I know I will use IT to transform society, because it is IT now that drives the economy, that drives the GDP of the country. And who am I? I think I am blessed to be in IT. And in the next 5 to 6 years to come, oh wow, I'll be a professor of computer science.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing with us all that we've talked about. And I think we are going to mark that right. We shall host you again after 5 or 6 years, so that we host Dr. Kizza.
Thank you so much.
That's so good, Mr. Kizza. To you, our dear viewers, thank you for your time. Thank you for having spared your time and sat and watched us onto this episode. And we pray that may you be encouraged, may you gain life, may you be hopeful again out of what we've shared on this episode.